So iOS 10.1 has been recently released, and yeah, we already have iOS 10.2 developer beta. And this is actually a pretty big update. I was honestly not expecting this early. So iOS 10.2 comes with even more features than iOS 10.1. That's if you're not on an iPhone 7 Plus, because well, the main feature of iOS 10.1 was the portrait mode or the blur effect, which was exclusive to the iPhone 7 Plus. So hey everyone, welcome to the Zen of Tech. I'm Daniel, and this is my full in-depth review of iOS 10.2, along with my top 20 new features in iOS 10.2. Enjoy. Okay, so number one, the first and probably the main feature as well, are the new wallpapers, finally. So we now get 3 new wallpapers. This, I believe, is a water droplet, and it comes in blue, pink, and orange. Now, unfortunately, these are the only wallpapers that we get, and also, these are static wallpapers, so they're not live, which is kind of weird because, well, they do look like live wallpapers. But these are just the first 2 betas, Beta 1 and Beta 2, so hopefully by the end of iOS 10.2, Apple will make these into live wallpapers, hopefully. And by the way, these are the wallpapers that Apple has shown at the Mac October Apple event, which, by the way, in case you've missed, I did a recap video of that, and I've linked that in the description box down below. Now, I do hope that the old iOS 9 wallpapers are coming back. Really don't know why Apple keeps removing old wallpapers instead of just keeping them and adding new ones instead. Most likely to keep the phone fresh, but I mean, seriously. Then number 2, the second big change is that if you go to settings and camera, there's now a new option to preserve the camera settings. So for example, you can preserve the camera mode so that if you take a lot of video, you're always taken to your last section instead of being taken to the photo mode every single time. And you can also enable this for things like photo filters, so that each time you launch the filters, you're being taken to the last one you've used. And you can also enable the same thing for live photos. Next up, number 3, if you go to the Messages app and go to Screen Effects, we now have a brand new effect. So this is the new effect, it's called Celebration, and it has these really nice champagne colored fireworks, not sure what they are, but yeah, they do look pretty nice. So yeah, this is the new celebration effect in iOS 10.2. Number 4, for the Videos app, you can now add a widget to your widgets panel. Now, I don't really have any videos on my iPhone, but if I did, I would be able to instantly launch them directly from the widgets panel instead of having to go in the app and launch them from there. So not a big change, but definitely a welcome one. Number 5, this is actually a really big change. So with iOS 10.2, we now have full Unicode 9 support. So this means that we have all the emojis that you would get with Unicode 9. So now we have over 72 new emojis. Yes, over 72 new emojis. And these, by the way, were approved in June 2016 for Unicode 9, but they were just not included in iOS 10 yet. But now we have them, so we have quite a bunch of new emoticons. We have a clown face, we have a selfie face, we have a pregnant woman, a face palm, deer, fox, dog, lizard, shark, gorilla, and many more. Yeah, 72 new emojis, so yeah, quite a lot of new ones. Then we have a couple of new changes in the Music app. So number 6, downloaded songs now have this new downloaded text instead of just the check mark like we had before. Then number 7, also in terms of the Music app, if you go to settings and music, you now have a new option to show star ratings like we had a while ago. Now, for some reason, I'm actually missing this setting, so I'm guessing you need a US Apple account and you also need Apple Music enabled on a US Apple account in order for this to appear. Number 8, when you're listening to Bluetooth headphones now, you now have this new icon on the status bar telling you that you have some Bluetooth headphones connected, and you also have a battery life indicator for the headphones. Now, the long-awaited Apple AirPods have yet to launch, and we were expecting these in late October, but Apple has postponed them to early 2017, so I'm guessing that this is how they'll be displaying the battery life and their status as well. Next up, number 9, haptic feedback on the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus is much more noticeable now. So we now have feedback for pretty much anything you do in the system. So for example, when you scroll through the options when playing a song, in Apple Music, you can now feel each option as you select it, or when you open up the control center, there's now a new letter tap when it reaches the middle of the screen, and then in the notification center, you no longer get a vibration when you open it. Instead, you get one when the notification window reaches the bottom of the display. So these are some examples of improved haptic feedback, some small but very welcome changes when it comes to haptic feedback. Then number 10, in the accessibility settings, if you go to the home button options, you now have an option to actually turn off both Siri and voice control completely. Now previously you could do this, but only for Siri, so voice control was always on. However, you can finally disable this. Unfortunately, as far as I can tell, there's no way to add a custom function to holding down the home button, or at least not yet. 11, also in the Music app, you now have a new option to sort your playlists. So you can now sort them by type, by title, or by most recently added. 12, when you open up the notification center, it now opens up to where you left it. So it basically remembers the page, the widgets or the notifications page, and also the page scroll. So if you were at the middle of the page when you closed it, it would no longer reset to the top. Next up, and this is actually my favorite feature so far. So if you go to settings, accessibility, and accessibility shortcuts, you now have more options when triple clicking the home button. So you can now select up to all options, up to all 7 options to appear when you triple click the home button. The most useful one for me personally is reducing the white point. And this is especially useful at night, so you can set this in display accommodations and then reduce white point. Just set it to something like 70% or 80%, and now you have a night mode, well, sort of. It's definitely less bright than even turning down the display brightness completely, and you can even use this to save battery life, so yeah, very useful feature to have indeed. Number 14, this unfortunately only seems to work on the Plus models, but if you go to settings and messages, previously you had the option to show or hide contact photos, and now this also applies to the actual message. So if you're now inside a message, you can now enable or disable the top contact icon. However, for some reason this only works on the Plus model, so if you have a smaller iPhone, you cannot disable this, which is quite weird. I mean, it should have been the other way around, since on the Pluses you already have much more screen real estate. Then also in the music app, if you go to the what's up next list, you can now delete individual songs. Now, some have said that you can actually rearrange them just like you could in iOS 9 and the iOS 9 version of the music app. However, as far as I can tell, you can only delete those. 16, in the health app, if you go to your medical ID section, you now have the option to send a notification to your emergency contacts. And you can add multiple contacts, by the way, and a notification with your location will be sent if something goes wrong. So once you have enabled emergency mode via the Apple Watch, and you do this by simply holding down the power button for a few seconds and then sliding the emergency mode. So now, not only will your iPhone call the emergency number based on the country you're located in, but your emergency contacts would also get a message with your location if something goes wrong. Really useful. 17, this is a pretty small one, but if you go to settings and notifications and then messages, you now have the option to show message previews. So you can have this enabled when your iPhone is unlocked or always, or you can simply turn this off entirely. I'm guessing that more apps will support this in the future. Now, there are a couple of bugs and glitches, like for Siri, for example. If you ask her to set an alarm or a timer, sometimes she just won't listen, she just won't set up the timer or the alarm. And then if you go to emojis, the LGBT flag doesn't seem to work, so it doesn't seem to work, and sometimes it even crashes the phone. Now, this has been fixed in beta 2, so this was an issue in beta 1. Number 19, this is a pretty big change. So also in terms of the emojis, it seems that most of them have been slightly tweaked. So for example, the hamburger, the fries, the pizza, the egg, and so on. A lot of the emoticons, actually most of them have been redesigned slightly, especially the eye icon. Just take a look at how it looks in iOS 10.2 and then iOS 10.1. And also kind of funny how we have this girl here with the MacBook, and then the MacBook does have a glowing Apple logo, but in real life, the new MacBooks, they don't have a glowing Apple logo anymore. So yeah, kind of funny. Now, number 20, the TV app that was introduced at the Apple event, and the October Apple event is finally here. So this is how it looks, and unfortunately you do need a US Apple account in order to use it and even see it. So yeah, I personally don't have it because I'm on a UK account, but this is basically how it would look like on the iPhone and on the iPad. But it should be launching to other countries in early 2017. Then 21, there's also an SOS mode, an emergency mode on the iPhone as well. So this was introduced in beta 2, and to enable it, you just have to go to settings and emergency SOS. You now have this new option here, and that's how you enable it. And basically all you have to do to activate it is to quickly press the power button 5 times, and your iPhone will automatically call the emergency number based on the country you're located in. And you'll get this beep so that you know that you've called the emergency mode, so you can cancel it if you wish to. 22, this is also a pretty small change. In the music app in the second beta, the shuffle and the repeat buttons have finally been redesigned. So they're quite a bit larger now. They're much easier to press and find than before. And finally, let's talk about the performance a bit. So iOS 10.2, I have to say, it feels quite a bit faster than iOS 10.1, especially when it comes to opening and closing apps. This feels much quicker, especially on the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. For some reason, these have always had a slightly slower closing app speed than something like an iPhone 6s running iOS 10. Now, as you can see, there's still a bit of lag left, so it's not perfect yet, which I'm guessing, or at least I'm hoping, that it will be fixed in future betas, since in the end this is only the second beta and the first beta of iOS 10.2. But yeah, there we go. These were all the major features, the major changes in iOS 10 10.2. Let me know in the comments which feature do you consider to be the biggest change. But yeah, other than that, thank you for watching. Feel free to give this video a like if you have enjoyed it to let me know. Then feel free to subscribe for more videos like this one. And also don't forget to turn on notifications on my channel on both desktop and mobile. On mobile by simply clicking on that bell icon next to my channel so that you're notified as soon as I upload a brand new epic video. But yeah, this has been it for this video. So thank you for watching this video. I'm Daniel, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Zen of Tech, signing out. Cheers.